Welcome to the service clinic at Low Country Harley-Davidson. I'm Doc Harley. One of the #1 things that can cost you is diagnostics at the dealership. When you bring your bike in and say, my brake light doesn't work, all right, it takes diagnostics to figure it out. So I want to help you with a tech tip to maybe diagnose your issue with a brake light and save you money so you can just go to the dealership and say, replace this part. Let's have a scenario here. My brake light doesn't work. Now, that's really vague, okay, when you bring that to a dealership, so let's narrow that down. Some of you do not know that there are 2 brake switches. One up the front, one for the rear. So when you say my brake light switch doesn't work, does that mean just your rear brake or your front? So that's the first test you're going to do. Turn your bike on, apply the front. Does the brake light come on? Yes, it does. Push your rear brake. No, brake light doesn't come on. All right, so we've diagnosed that it's just a problem with the rear brake. I've seen that happen many times. You're riding in a group and all of a sudden your brake light doesn't work. Well, it's because the guy used 90% of the time his rear brake and doesn't use the front brake. So let's diagnose which is doing. Is it the front or is it the rear brake? Now, if you apply both and we don't have any rear brake, let's go to the simplest answer on that. On this model here, you've got a bulb that is the same as your turn signal bulb. So if you know that your turn signal is working and your running light, pop this out, take your bulb out, put it in this back one, all right? Then turn your bike on, apply the brake. Hey, I got brake lights. It's simple as replacement of a bulb. All right, you've just diagnosed and you've fixed, because you can go down to Walmart, pick up an 1157, put it in there. Now, please remember, it has 2 tangs, one up high, one down low. Put it in the correct direction. Yes, it can be done the opposite, and you have a running light that's really bright and a brake light that's not too bright at all. And it really shows you're not too bright. So make sure you put the bulb in correct. But let's go back a little bit. Now, I've showed this model, all right? Maybe you've got this model, all right, and don't have running lights. You've got an old 80s bike that doesn't have a dual element. All right, so you still take out this bulb, it's same dual element, and put another bulb in and check on it. Now, for later model people, all right, you may take the 2 screws out, take it out, and you go, oh, what's this thing here? This Doc didn't talk about this kind of thing. You reach in, you turn it clockwise, counterclockwise, okay, and then you pull it out. Whoa, too tight. All right, different bulb. This bulb is flat. It won't be the same as your running lights, okay? So you're going to have to find this at an automotive place or your Harley-Davidson dealership and try this bulb. So late model ones, they've changed the bulb. It's not the same. But on this one here, the Softail, it's the same, and this is a 2013. So you can do that test to see, is it the bulb or not? Let's say you've changed the bulb and it's still not working for your rear brake. Front brake is working, but rear brake isn't working. All right, let's diagnose that. Find your brake master cylinder, follow the brake line. In the brake line, you will find a brake switch. Now, this is an old one, large, takes a 7/8. They've all made them now 5/8, so you may find the big one or you may find the small one. But you're going to follow the brake line, and here's this one on the Softail. It's right here, and it's got 2 connectors. All right, so take the 2 connectors off, pull them aside, and get yourself, I'm sure in the garage, you've got a piece of wire. 16 gauge. All right. Turn your motorcycle off. Put one in one side, one in the other. Turn your motorcycle on. Don't even have to apply the brake. Does your brake light come on? If it's bright and you take this out and it goes out, it's the switch. Bring your bike to your dealership and say, I need you to replace that brake light switch. Maybe you don't have the tools. Some of you will say, oh, I can do that at home. Use a little Teflon tape or a little Teflon tube liquid and put it on there and put it on there. Fine. But I really highly suggest that you also bleed your brakes. I can hear you already out there saying, oh, no, I don't need to do that. I'm great, Superman. You're fast. I'm not. Most of the time, I'll have the new one on, and it's got the goo on it, and I'm trying to get in here, I'll drop it, and there's air while I've got this out, and there's brake fluid coming out a little bit. I highly, if you're going to do this at home, replace this and bleed your brakes. Get the air bubble that you just created out, all right, and make sure that you fill your master cylinder back up the way it is. So that's a quick diagnostics here. My brake light doesn't work, it's the rear brake. Take the two off, put a little wire in, pop, it lights up. Take it out, it doesn't work. Now you know you need a brake light switch. So what about your front brake? Will it keep the light on all the time? Yes, and the 9 times out of 10, the reason is because you replaced the lever. How's replacing the lever have anything to do with the brake light? Let me show you. Here's a switch, console. Turn it. In the back is a little nub. That's the brake light switch for the front. And the lever keeps it pushed in. Now, when you are replacing your levers, and this is all together, you slide your lever in, and the lever hits that little plastic and breaks it. It's an easy thing to do to not. When you're replacing levers, take this unit off, get yourself a piece of cardboard. Make it a little bit thick, push your brake on, slide this in. Now, this piece is in. Now you can slide this back on and it will not break off that little nub. But let's just say that your front brake light switch isn't working. And you've diagnosed that, you've taken this off and you push this in and out and it's not working. All right, now you've diagnosed it. It has to do with the switch. Bring this to your dealership and have them replace it. I don't know if you have a soldering gun. I don't know if you're really good at soldering. But the fix is to take this little switch out, cut the 2 wires, solder the new one in, and put it back in. And that solder has to be small and concise because you have to rewrap these up and go back on the handlebars. If you do a large glob and mess, you're going to make a mistake and it won't fit all back together again. I'd rather you just bring it to the dealership, have them put the brake light switch, it's on them, put it together. You've saved yourself time in diagnostics. All you're doing is have them replacing the switch. I hope this video helps you understand that you can diagnose a problem so you're not paying for that at the dealership. You're just wanting the part that is wrong replaced. I'm Doc Harley. We'll see you next week.